And we're live. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Inspired Tarot. I'm your host, Ben, from Inspired Action. You can find me at Inspired Action YouTube channel. And my wonderful guest, Miss Psychic D, can be found at Miss Psychic D on YouTube as well as Facebook. If you'd like to reach out to Danielle to get a reading, please go to misspsychicd.com.au for your reading. Danielle, good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm swell. How are you?
Excellent. Very, very
That's
good.
good.
Very, very
G'day,
good.
everyone.
I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up this morning. We got to raise the vibration.
Oh, don't we just? I don't know about everybody else, but I'm the first one to admit I had a bit of an emo weekend. Sort of had a lot of emotional stuff come up. So this is going to be a perfect topic today because these are practices that I've had to do in my own life, even over the last couple of days, you know? So,
yeah. The identifying or the working through the emotions or feeling through, exploring the emotions and purging. Maybe talking to a friend, doing something that will set your emotions straight. It's a lifestyle.
Exactly right. I was lucky because I got to talk to one of my beautiful friends, and she helped me out a lot. And but at the end of the day, it's about, well, for me, it's really making myself understand and know that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to sometimes fall into the 3D side of things and just become human for a day. I put a lot of pressure on myself because I know better. You know what I mean? Hi, Rebekah. I know better and I've got the skills and I've got the strategies and all that. But after 30 years of still doing this myself, sometimes it does sort of, hey, Tracy, does obviously, kick in the bum sometimes.
We're all human, right? Exactly.
That's right.
And as the saying goes, it's how you take yourself from there once you're in that situation.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We've got more people in. We've got lots of love coming in. Holly, good morning. Yeah, look, I think great place to start would be, we're talking about vibration. So what exactly do we do? We say, well, what is it? What are vibrations? What is frequency? When we talk about that, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the emotional state, the physical state, the spiritual state? It could be all three. It could be a nice triangle. Just put it out there. Yeah. And getting those aspects all working together in some form of something that came up for me this morning, and the word starts with G, geometry. I don't know how I picked that. Did you see there was what do they call it? Is it Sudoku or is it Sudoku? You know how you've got all these random letters and stuff? Crossword. But we don't have to fill it in. It's just randomized letters. Yeah. And it's, so you look at this picture and what are the three words that you see immediately? And I got, the three I got were master, geometry, starseed. I thought, wow. Wow. Okay. Geometry. Let's have a think about geometry. And the first thing that came into my head was the human body and the soul and the spirit and the emotional body as well. And the geometry that is formed, I mean, in here in your pineal gland and all the other organs in your body, and how does that all form when we start at the very sort of basic level of vibration and frequency?
Yeah.
So I think we can go really deep into it, or we can just, you know, talk it on a very simple level. But yeah, it's
Spirit just said to me, for you, Ben, crystal gridding. Crystal gridding may be something that you could look into in relation to what you're seeking, because you're talking about the geometry in the technical learning side of things. There you go. I never sit here and preach about things that I don't know about. I'm not. I've never been a big crystal dealer, even in the the legal crystal, that is. Anyway, so I just come out of a reading, so I'm a bit. But yeah, definitely crystal gridding and the geometries of that, and maybe ascension points when it comes to northeast, west, south, all that sort of stuff. That's how it feels to me, to us. I'm not trying to sway you off your thing, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's really important to know that everything in life is energy, and everything has an energy, and it lets off a sense, so to speak. It's a vibration. So that's where the vibration comes into it. And typically our vibrations come from a sense of a feeling space. So, when someone says, oh, I've got a funny vibe about that, that's because their emotional self is actually picking up on the energy that whatever this is emitting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a person's body, like a physical person that's walking around you. You could be in a shopping mall or somewhere like that, and you can pick up. I mean, that was something when I was a lot younger, before I even knew of the concept of protection, right, or shielding oneself. Walk into a shopping center, and I just remember it's almost like the Terminator. The eyes would go ching, and try and connect to a person over there, and connect to that person over there, and over there too, and up there.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing in, like, trying to tune into that person and trying to tune into that person. By the time I'd done my shopping, I was exhausted.
Yeah, you would have, especially being sensitive empath. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt the
It
same
could
thing.
be location as well.
That's how I knew something was a little bit different with me, so to speak, is that I used to sit on chairs. I used to sit on chairs and pick up the energetic vibration from the chair. And at the time, I didn't understand. I could start crying. I had nothing to cry about, but I'd just start crying. And, it looked like a bit of a weirdo. But anyway, when I went to the Psychic Guild and they actually discussed things like that, what they made me understand is that I was picking up the energetic vibration of the person who sat in that chair before me.
The impression.
So the person who sat there must have been upset. They must have been crying, and I was just picking up on that. So every single thing, whether it's living, inanimate, anything of that nature, it all carries an energetic vibration. So it could be a haunted doll, you know what I mean? Or it can be a wonderful piece of rose quartz, and people do actually feel it and pick up the energetic vibration of it and go, oh, I just feel so much love right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything definitely has energy and everything has vibration. So that's why a lot of us, quite often when we're untrained, so to speak, get very overwhelmed.
Yeah. And it is a bit of a journey as well. It's a perception thing too, I think, is if you don't know what you don't know, you can be susceptible to various different energies when you come in contact with them. And whether you go the route of protection or if it's just a mindfulness thing where you can develop your inner observer, so you can see or feel that emotion, feel that vibration, and just watch it pass, or know that it's not you. Even just that small thing, just know it's not you, and be able to separate and identify, this is someone else and this is me. Then you're less likely to be sucked into that vibrational vortex, into whatever that is. Yeah.
That's perfect. And that's why for very sensitive intuitives or empaths, I often say when I first started out doing what I had to do, that was one of the first processes I had to do each day. I literally had to take time out. I had a nice shower. I cleansed myself in the shower. I sat down. If I was still feeling certain emotions, I sat there and had to articulate, did something happen to me today or in the last bit that's making me feel this way? If I tick off the no box, then I look at all different angles. And like I say, it's a lifestyle. You've got to work your way through it, but you've got to respect and honor and cherish your energy and your own vibe first and foremost. Yeah. Put it on. My fingers make
Wow.
it cold and I couldn't move it. I thought someone died wearing it. Perfect. See, Holly, that's exactly how it works. And of course, our logical mind will take over and try to decipher that, break it down. Where did it come from? How come? That's why building trust in your abilities, building trust in your connection with spirit, building trust in your life, so to speak, is paramount to when you start having experiences like this.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we
I have
become
to
psychic
say-
detectives. I've got to find out the answers to
sup-
this.
The super
Whose ring
sleuth,
was it?
And then look them up in the obituaries and
Yeah.
find out exactly who the person was, and then speak to their family and try and
Some people
figure it
do
out.
that. Some people do that because their curiosity is really strong, but good on them, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
But it's beautiful that
Hi, how
Holly
are
can
you?
acknowledge, you know, that she had these feelings and they weren't hers. So I'm not going to take ownership of it, but I may want to research this or do something more about it. She wasn't going to stay in that vibe that item or object was trying to put on her.
That's right. So I've got some questions here, and I think it's mainly around if we are a group, and I'm relatively certain as a group, as a community, we're all wanting to be on the higher side of the scale of emotions, right? And the struggle is always how do we keep ourselves there? But I think sometimes also even I'm certainly no perfect human being when it comes to my emotions. Sometimes there are certainly triggers where the split second after you've reacted and you've reacted negatively, you go, oh god, I should never have done that, right? I think that's the start of that journey, or at least starting to correct it.
Yep.
But how do we we're talking about self checks. How do we is it a perception thing, do you think, getting to that next level? Because we all know what it feels like to be in a good mood. We all know what it feels like to be in a bad mood. But sometimes I think when we get in a state of overwhelm, we go reaching for tools, and sometimes people they're not consciously, they're not mindful of the tools that they have. And so there are external tools that we can use. So things like, for me, music and dance. I'm not a fantastic dancer, but I'll look stupid and do it.
I think you need to show us.
No.
Please let us see Exhibit A.
Nor the singing either. I'll do that in the show. But of course, Laura.
On the spot. Sorry.
But yeah, we don't necessarily always have the tools, and we could be. It doesn't matter what age we are. We could be, 10-year-old, child looking for some tools, when they're frustrated, or you could be a 65-year-old person again in almost the same situation, struggling to find tools. And I think when I started this channel, that was kind of one of the areas that I wanted to go to as well. Myself, I know that I've tried myself. I've tried qigong, I've tried yoga, I've tried Kundalini yoga, I've tried a whole bunch of different things, and I suppose life just gets in the way with some of those, because I'm very much a person who is I'm all in or just nothing, and I need to be able to create. I need to be able to create and sort the time to get these things done. And that's it's a lifestyle choice. But I also see now that it's a momentum thing as well. So I might have an inspirational thought, and it's grand. It's big. It's out there, and I'll go for that, and then I'll hit resistance after resistance after resistance, and the mountain is just very hard to start rolling that big ball over to get some momentum. I think to the audience, because I want to make a focus to the audience, they might be in this situation, they may not be, I don't know. But I think starting with some little tools would be helpful to people that might watch this now or might watch it later, because maybe they're in the same situation as me, where they're going, oh, I've got grand big ideas that I want to get momentum on. But you don't go from 0 to 1,000 in a second. And that's something that I've noticed in my own life. I need to feel that momentum. Start off with something small, get that positive momentum happening, and try a little bit more, and then try a little bit more. So,
yeah,
leading to the, I'm leading. Anyway,
I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've talked about this in Patreon as well, and there's some bits and pieces that you share on Patreon, on your Patreon website, that I've looked at, and I'll honestly say that I have not used it as well as I could have, because it has to be an everyday thing. And I recognize that. And I need to change my lifestyle, because again, there's all these various different things that need to kind of come in alignment. I need to change my lifestyle and my morning habits to be able to better utilize what you're putting out there. And whether it's a Patreon member of yours or whether it's just someone listening to this video, where do we start? I mean, we've got a whole bunch of little tools like affirmations and self scripts and all that kind of stuff, but can you take us to the next level?
Well, I think it's very, very important to first and foremost understand that your purpose to come here in life is to experience joy. So that's first and foremost. And the way that you experience joy is to only think the things, do the things, experience the things that make you feel better and better and better and better. So you can create some sort of stability in your life, so you can gain a new momentum, if that makes sense. The perfect way to start, maybe, if you wanted to take control back of your life and you wanted to gain a new momentum, is to accept and sit in how your life currently is, where you are right now. I like to introduce the release and the replace method first and foremost, because every single day there are things that we know aren't serving us well, and we want to release them, but we want to replace them with something else, because that's good for our energy, it's good for our vibration, and it's going to set that momentum going towards the outcome that we want. One thing that I did want to quickly touch on with that is the fact that the only really tool you need in life is yourself. Sometimes we do fall into this kind of a belief system where you need something else to give you what you need emotionally. I'm here now saying, breath work, meditation, visualization, all those things that majority of people put in the too hard basket. That's too hard. I've tried that. It didn't work for me. I can't do it. I get distracted. As soon as people try to start doing things like that, they instantly put in can't do it. So the first thing you really need to do is to get disciplined and to own your energy and understand how important your vibration is. You gave a perfect example before we jumped on. You can print out the emotional guidance scale of Esther Hicks, the teachings of Abraham, and you can actually print that out and have a look on the scale each and every day and say, where would I consider myself on that scale today? Am I feeling hopeful? Am I feeling negative? Pessimistic? Perfect. So, like I say, to create a new lifestyle doing this, we have to do the energy work and honor ourselves enough and be disciplined enough to do it. But that's a really good place to start. It's just to have a look on there. Like, how am I feeling today? Like, I'm feeling really pumped because I've just had a morning full of reading. So, but if I was to look at my life yesterday, I would have put myself in the frustration mode. I was really frustrated. And then I asked myself the important questions. Well, I understand I'm feeling frustration, so that means I'm furthest away from my true self that I really am. What's something that I can think right now? What's something that I can do right now that I can raise my vibration enough so I can maybe step into boredom? And when you work with your intuition will tell you. My first thing was reach out to a friend. So I messaged my friend, and then I ended up having a 3.5-hour conversation with her. And then honestly, I felt like my problem had subdued a little bit, and I was bored. So I managed that. And then last night I sort of went, right, well, I'm in this bored sort of feeling, and I don't like feeling that way. It's not for my highest good. It's not adding value to my life. What's something I can do to put into positive? So I sat down and I organised my relaunch party that I'm having on my Facebook page on Friday night. See, instant.
Yeah.
As soon as I tapped into that energy, my face went flushed. It just went, yeah. And so to get out of that boredom feeling, I did that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to step up tomorrow and do it physically, and I've just got to jump into action. Everything in life, it's really important that you've got to go there in your thoughts. I mean, your thoughts are going to control your emotions to some degree, and you need to go there in your emotions first, and then you feel confident, stable, easy enough to do the physical action. Because sometimes people do want to put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I've noticed as well. So thinking about the broadness of all this, because it's obviously applicable to every age of people out there. I notice this with my children as well. Just looking and putting that perspective overlay of kids and what they do. You know, they can go from irritation to boredom, and then go from boredom into something, you know, incredibly creative. And it's that space to stop and collect their thoughts and go, what do I really want to be doing right now? Feel it, go, I feel that. That feels good. I want to go do that. And then they'll go start doing it.
It's a natural process.
Yeah.
It's because it's a natural process. Us oldies who have been too conditioned and programmed by life, it feels like a chore to us. It feels like another to-do list. It feels like that. But when it comes to kids, and God bless your kids because you provide such a beautiful environment for them, and you're allowing of them to do that process so naturally. So that's why you can see it so much. But they're not tarnished by the world yet. They haven't had any life experience that will bring up triggers and concerns and third world issues. Do you know what I mean?
Unless it's their brothers.
Yeah, but that's contrast, and we all need contrast. That's how we build our skills. You know what I mean? But kids do it so naturally and so flowy, and that's why sometimes you can see the most abused kids that have made it as adults because they followed that. They didn't realize they were doing it like intellectually, but they just wanted more. They wanted better, and eventually their desire come into life and they have a better life. So, like I say with your kids, sorry, but they're doing it so naturally. They're not doing it by program or by script. They're embracing their free will, and kudos to you guys. 22 pounds. Wow. That is amazing. Mate. And I bet you started off being very disciplined, Jay. And you know what? You got to want it enough. You got to want it enough. I felt so shitty as a kid and so defeated and so misunderstood. And I went into that depression so bad as a kid. I wanted it for myself. I just woke up one day and said, you know what? There's more to life than this for me. And that I found that was my drive.
And I've experienced this to some degree within my life, but okay, just a moment. It's I think it's a little bit further down. Yeah. So if I go and I have a look at the bottom end of the scale here, where we've got the insecurity, hatred, guilt, powerlessness, that can, you know, how we see in movies, and people say, oh, you're right at your bottom, your lowest low. And there's always these inspirational stories that we hear of people who have really gone down into their lowest low, and they've got nothing left to lose. It's almost like in that boredom scale as well, a portion of the scale where you have an opportunity when you've got nothing left to lose, or you've got no more hate to hate, or you've purged out all of those emotions, where either your own spirit or your own freedom of choice at that point to make that soul decision to say, I want better for myself. I don't want to be in these depths anymore. And you can start to navigate your way back up the scale.
Definitely.
And of course, obviously, yeah.
And if that desire is not there, and honestly, the energy and the vibration is flatlined, that's why people suicide. That's why people take themselves home, because at the end of the day, they know we are extensions of that energy. We don't physically live it in the 3D, but intuitively they know that's their next best logical step. That's what's going to give them the most relief. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to understand that. I've had my brother took his life last year. And when I'm experiencing it, there's no way I wanted to believe that, so to speak. He had so many people that will help him and do all this sort of stuff. But for him himself, it was only down from there, especially if people are like, as we're talking about how to raise your vibration, a lot of people are inducing their bodies with toxins. So if anyone wants to raise their vibration, they have to focus on sort of really eliminating any sort of toxic energy that is in their life, whether it's through clutter in their home, whether it's the company they keep, whether it's the thoughts they're thinking, whether it's alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's all going to have some sort of effect on our ability to raise our vibration.
Yeah. I mean, there's all the science behind this as well around the human body, and things like the brain and gut connection.
Definitely.
Right? So having that imbalance of yeasts and bacteria and the microbiome in your stomach, if that's completely, as Laura was saying, fast food, that kind of thing can really disrupt that balance that's supposed to be there in your stomach. And if it's not sending the right messages up to the brain, your mood can be completely trashed. But I think it's I wish I had a drawing for this. Maybe it exists already, but the three or four spheres, I suppose, where you've got your emotional body, your physical body, and maybe your spiritual body. And when considering trying to raise your vibration, you need to take into account, all three of those.
Definitely, it's a balancing act. But like I say, and I probably keep repeating myself, but it is first and foremost your physical body is just your vessel that's going to carry around your waking life. Your spiritual, like you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Your spiritual being will actually take care of itself. It's up to our free will and our consciousness where we are to raise our vibration enough to remember that, to go into that sort of energy. One thing I will say, this is probably a bit more advanced, but when I was younger, I ate nothing but shit food. Like I used to call myself the toxic psychic, because when I ate junk food, drank alcohol, took drugs, did all that stuff, man, my abilities were off the chart. I could give you names. I could just spit it out like no tomorrow. And when I sort of knew that wasn't conducive to my physical health, I sort of said to spirit, I can't do these artificial highs anymore. I've got to get into a natural way of doing this. And I said, why didn't all that stuff harm my body? My sister used to always sit there and go, you're still a stick and you eat so much shit and you drink and you do all this sort of stuff. What's up with that? It's not fair. But spirit said what I did, and I didn't realize I was doing it, is that in some way I was blessing that bad stuff before I actually had it.
Mm.
And
then we go into the talk about the fact that the human body is 70 or 80% water, and that you can make impressions on water with your intent and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's powerful. And even to have that realization, that realization alone is huge.
Because when my sister was attacking me with these comments, because she'd eat a donut and her thighs would just go, you know what I mean? And yet I'd shove 6 down or whatever, and I was still a stick. And you know, that kind of thing. But that's my intention, was that I was eating that because I enjoyed it. I wasn't eating it with the intention that I'm going to put on 25 kilos like she was. And that's it. We spoke about that. I don't know whether it was last week or the week before, the power of intention and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, I'm getting older, and the things I eat, I can't eat anymore because it starts wearing out. So you have to address those sort of things. But yeah, I think it's more of a package rather than taking care of 3 different things, if you know what I mean. Just going back to your little bubble.
Yeah, I just had the word pop into my head, triune. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. As in, they're 3 aspects of the same body, or whatever you want to call it. They all work in tandem or whatever.
And I've found over time too that they all naturally connect over time. I found for myself, I had to look after my mindset first and foremost because my thoughts were getting away from me. And that was my biggest demise back in the day, was my mindset and my thought processes. And I turned aggressive as a result. I was beating people up left, right, and center because they had bigger boobs than me. So crazy. But anyway, but like I say, I did see a psychologist and stuff like that, and he just gave me that one new perspective that shifted my mindset into better. So I started reading, raising my vibration through learning, through knowledge, through power, all that sort of stuff. Getting that solid understanding for myself that I'm not wacky. Yeah, I've got a few bits that aren't sort of working together, but yeah, I had to start with my mindset. And when I started shifting my mindset, raising my vibes that way by watching positive movies and all that sort of stuff, that's when I just started eating better. I remember I got a job at a fruit shop, and all of a sudden I couldn't get enough fruit and vegetables into me. So I've gone from 4 cans of Coke, CCs and donuts each and every day as a lifestyle to all of a sudden having stir fries. My family were looking at me going, "Are you all right? Like, what's going on?" Yeah, they were a little bit confused. And all of a sudden, do you want to come out for drinks? I don't feel like drinking. You know, and I didn't put any pressure on stopping that part of my life. It's just that I empowered my thought, and I wanted the change so much more. And I was in that feeling space of it, that my next best logical steps just came. And I just did them. And over time, that was back in 92, 91, 92. And we're in 2022 now. So now it's just built that momentum that this is a true lifestyle for myself. So it's not about focusing on fixing a certain area. I think it's more so about getting the mind right, empowering the mind, really try to form a relationship and a connection with source energy in your own way. They're listening. They don't care how you talk to them. You know, and it doesn't have to be serious business, but it's actually funny because I thought, what's a topic I can talk about with people this week, Spirit? And they just said, teach them how to get a relationship with their cards so they can connect with us and trust us better.
I've had that thought over the last fortnight. Wouldn't it be cool to get my own, tarot deck and just see what happens?
Yep. The oracles
Cool
are really
thing to
good.
explore.
Yeah. And like I say, that's Spirit's message to you. It doesn't mean you have to go out tomorrow and buy them, go out and find them or whatever, because that Spirit gave you that inspired idea. The inspired action may not be on your part. I might sit here and say, hey, I'm getting rid of some cards, which I actually am, but I'm getting rid of some cards. Hey, Ben, do you think these would suit you? And you go, yes. That's law of attraction. You just got that inspired idea that, I might get myself a pack of cards. And you leave it at that. It just felt good. Yeah, that could be something, Then all of a sudden they're in your lap, given to you. You do find them. They cross your path, something of that nature.
Well, for me, it would be curiosity, right? Because, just like a lot of the people probably listening as well and in the community, my if you want to call it my awakening journey started in 2012. And I have absorbed so much, from that community over that period of time. There's only so much that you can listen to until you go, well, what's next? you just sit and wait and see what happens. And sometimes, as you were saying, the thought might come into your mind, that might be cool to do. I'd like to see how does it work? Like, I mean, this is the logical mind happening again, but how does it actually work? So how does Spirit actually tell the card reader when to stop so that they get the right cards coming out? Because I'm just thinking about it. Presumably, Spirit says, all right, stop there. Deal the hands. This is it.
And this is going to sound really silly. But what I used to do back in my days, you know, you admit that you go into that logical, how does that work? Whatever. We're so blessed these days that you have Google and all that. I didn't have that back in the day. So, but you've got Google. I would honestly write that question down. I'd write it down and I would Google it. And what will happen is you may read 12 or 15 articles on it, but there's one specific one that stands out to you that resonates, that's aligned with you. That's your answer. Because honestly, everybody does it differently. Yeah, everyone does it differently.
Because I've heard other tarot card readers and psychics say, you know, I'll do it blind, and that kind of would resonate with me as well, where you would turn them upside down on the table and then put your hands over it and just go, I can feel that one's less, I can feel that one's more, I can feel this has the highest vibration, and maybe I'll just take that one. What's that one say?
That's it. It's as easy as that. See, for me, it was temperature. When I did my cards, when I first started coming out, I knew as soon as it hit a warm patch, that was the card I was meant to choose. And then when I did it consistently and I wrote down my cards and all that, I found out that the same cards kept coming out. And then when I did a little process or a little something that, you know, whatever was guiding me to do, just say, said, go vegetarian. So I go, all right, let's give it a crack. And I'd be vegetarian for a week. The next week I'd draw the cards out. That vegetarian card is gone and I'd have another card take its place. And that's how you build a relationship with your cards as an individual if you just want to start doing this for yourself. Because Spirit will lead you and guide you through any tool. So yeah.
That's pretty swanky.
Like I said, the most important thing is to not go into your head and say this is wrong or this is right. Danielle said this, so that means what I'm doing is wrong. It doesn't work that way. You'll know it because you feel it. Tap into that emotional space. Be mindful. And it's trust. Honestly, it takes years sometimes to build that trust that what you're doing is congruent to you, or if you're starting to give it to other people, that it is coming from source. You know, some people are tarot readers. They are reading the meaning of the tarot and they do that so beautifully and so efficiently. Whereas people like myself are natural channels. We're just dumping the energetic downloads that Spirit are giving us, so to speak. Some people can do the grid work with the crystals and tell a story. It's going to be different for everybody. But it's about doing identifying that's something that you love and something that you want to do or something you want to get, doing the research on it, only taking what you need from that research and applying it.
Yeah. So, we're going down this rabbit hole, and I'm just thinking to myself, there's so many different ways that we can do this. This is, again, we're cropping up in a lot of our conversations, and I like the fact that we're doing this. That we're not teaching. And we're maybe shedding light on possibilities.
Yeah.
And anyone who wants to listen to this are not going to be listening to it going, yeah, Ben said this, Danielle said this. If I can't do it this way, you know, I'm going to throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
That people will arrive in their own time, in their own way, and through their own choice. And that's the story of life, right? Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, we can only express through the clarity of our own example. And I love getting on here with you because I do hope that in some way between you and I both, because we are chalk and cheese when you think about it, but we just get along and just gel so well. And at the end of the day, it's about sharing anything that's just going to inspire someone, just something that's going to give them a new perspective. something that will help turn their energy around and raise their vibration. Like, what a beautiful thing to be able to do for an hour is to jump on here, have a chat, talk about whatever topic that seems to come up, because it seems to be redirected all the time. But I believe that everybody will always receive what they need with what they're viewing, what they're focusing on. So the fact that you and I here, I jump off and I've got a new perspective. I've got something new, and I'm sure you do too, and hopefully everyone else does as well. But my main drive is the fact that don't get caught up in the cliches of everything and the rights and the wrongs and all that, because that will lower your vibration and you will put resistance in and you will stop doing what you're being intuitively led to do. And that'd be a shame, you know?
I was just thinking about, you know, how humans, when they've got a job to do, I don't know, we're thinking about the office, people in the office doing work. A lot of businesses, and the business that I work in is hugely process oriented. The one thing that I've realized through all of my work in the last 20 years with these companies is that people don't want process. They want to be able to do their tasks with their own flow. They want to arrive from point A to point Z or B or whatever in their own individual way, to be able to express themselves in their own individual way. And people will fight process so that they can express themselves. And I was just thinking that whole negative connotation to going down the path of least resistance. Have you heard that? You know, they're not doing things the right way. They're just taking the easy road. They're going down the path of least resistance. Just occurred to me that that's not necessarily a bloody bad thing to do, is it?
Not at all.
I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, do the path of least resistance. If it's going to get you to the end where you want to be quicker, what's so bad about that?
Exactly, because you've always had to ask for permission. You're at school. Can I go to the toilet, please? It's going to bring me relief to go to the toilet. Really love to empty my bladder.
Break time?
Yeah. Oh, and I'll go wait 15 minutes. You know, these are what you're expressing is your soul or spirit unprogramming or finding, you're unprogramming all that sort of stuff. Hey, I know people that love standing in a process line and doing the process dot for dot for dot for dot. People like you and I would find that very boring and we'd get restless really quick and stuff. But some people do it 40, 50 years and they love it. They thrive in it. So that's all right. But like I say, if you are in a process and you don't like it, you still have control over how you feel about it. You know, you can dance and sing and make the time go a bit faster and throw a peanut here and do something over here and crack a joke and do whatever you want to do in a process that's not feeling comfortable for you. So it doesn't create that resistance.
Where I was going with that was that around vibration and frequency and getting energetic momentum, I think that there could be, I'm probably included in this, where people are trying to move their momentum. They're trying to, manifest and be abundant and, be out of the sense of lack and all that sort of thing. That listen to people online on YouTube and they listen to all these frameworks and this and that have some kind of limitations and boundaries around them, or do this and do that kind of instructions, and are perhaps not following that path of least resistance because they think that they need to go this way and follow someone else's technique. When, as you were saying before, if you go back into your center, into your emotional space, and follow that, because that should point you in the right direction.
Well,
really.
At the end of the day, everybody's asking for something. And like I said, they're not doing it consciously like a robot, so to speak. But if they're out sourcing, watching 100 tarot readers, trying to source their answer from someone, they're asking for relief. They're asking for a solution. They're asking for a new perspective. They're asking for something. So that's why people do jump on and try to find something. You know what I mean? And sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. So some people just, you know, they're just after that Band-Aid fix. So I'll go and watch, you know, Miss Psychic D's weekly forecast on Wednesday. I'll watch that. I'll feel better in that moment. And by Friday, they're back in the same spot again. So it's about doing
spiritual
your
drug, you know. I'm feeling good now. Yeah.
But like I say, it's hard to have a big discussion about that because it's different to everybody's individual process, where they're at in their timeline, what they're holding on to, what they're not. You've really got to get some clarity in your energy and your vibration first and foremost. That's why, as much as it's my business, but that's why I pump getting a reading or getting somebody, an energy healer or someone of nature to maybe give you a bit of a reset, to help you have a bit of a reset so you know where to sort of come back and focus, because it's so easy to go willy-nilly, especially when you get into desperation. You know, it's that, yeah. Like Spirit always say, and I said this in a couple of programs before, KISS, keep it spiritually simple, everyone. But it's about you honoring and trusting your vibration and your energy first and foremost, through the thoughts you think, through, you know, who you allow into the people that are energy, that come into your life, who you hang around, who you talk to. And it's an ongoing art. It's the art of creation, really. I still have people come in that rub me up the wrong way. You know what I mean? But I sit there and I go, well, why is that coming up for me? Because that wouldn't be active in my vibration, in my real life experience, if I didn't have some underlying thought, some underlying something, you know, for that to come into my thing. And it doesn't mean you have to blame yourself or be annoyed at the other person or anything like that. We're going to be doing it for the rest of our life.
A lesson, right? So one thing I've heard in the last few years is, coming from you as well, that the universe is, you know, you're not a victim. The universe is not doing stuff to you just to be whole, and make things bad for you. Make things bad for you. It's offering you an opportunity to learn and grow.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're here to grow and expand, and you'll do it for the next how many years you're here on this planet. And you've done it for many planets and lifetimes before.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that when it comes to the audience and bring it back to maybe the collective rather than the individual, can we get the cards out and start maybe have a question or two around the collective and how universe. I changed my question. I had written this down. Now I'm saying we've gone in a different direction. So I had some notes in there around. So there's Kundalini. So we're talking about frequency and energy and raising your vibration. It's for some people, depending on your interest or curiosity, it could be around. There's the whole sexual onking and sacred sex and Kundalini and raising your vibrations to open up.
Sex? What's that? No, I'm just kidding. I have to chuck that in there. Raise the vibe, man. But anyway, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, there's all these other different aspects of the human body and raising vibration for various different reasons. And to put a point on it as well, some of the older, if we look at history, because history is something that really I'm curious about, because I noticed that a lot of the things that I've learnt in the past, Laura, again, she's laughing her ass off.
Hope you don't relate,
is things like in Rome or in Greece, some of the pictures around hi Jenny, group orgies, like they used to raise the vibration to try and manifest things for a community. And that kind of stuff, not that I would want to partake in that, because God, that's a pendulum that can go, maybe good that way, but also go really bad the other direction. And you start delving into
Can I just
cult-like.
quickly say something? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think this is a very important thing. I think one of the belief systems why people do these processes, whether it's Kundalini, yoga, sex, what's that, eating better or whatever, they're not doing it. They're only this is where it stuffs up. Most people are only doing it because they want the outcome. They want that manifestation. So they're doing it with not so good intention. Does that make sense? What people are doing through their processes and their skills and their strategies is that they're just doing it because it makes them feel better. That's it. So it doesn't matter which specific it is, whether it's yoga or volunteering in the community or naked beach walks and dives in the sunsets and all that sort of stuff. Obviously that's going to raise your vibe, but they're not doing that to get something as a result of it. They're all doing that to raise their vibration because they want to feel better first and foremost. The manifestations and the outcomes are the byproduct of that. So it's kind of like letting go of that belief that if I do this, like Psychic D said, if I do this and I do this release and replace method, then I'm going to get that boyfriend come into my experience next when it was predicted, because she said it would, whatever. And it's kind of like, no, I told you that because I want you to have hope and I want you to feel better and I want you to feel optimistic, and we want you to get into the best feeling place that you can. So that boyfriend, so one day you're actually walking up with your head held high, thinking that you're beautiful, thinking and knowing, so I should say, they just said don't say thinking, say knowing, that you are desirable and that there is someone out there that can love you how you want the love and all that, and you cross paths. You will attract through your doing of your feeling better rather than doing a process to get that manifestation, to get that outcome. Sorry, they just made me go on a rant.
No, it's good. the rant brings out, if you want to call it a rant, that's fine, but it brings out the knowledge.
Spirit are just very passionate. The Spirit are just so passionate about trying to make this easier for people.
Yeah.
And I know when you're in the dark depths, pits of hell, someone like me jumping on and going, oh, this and that, and here's the knowledge, and here's the power, and all that is so patronizing. They don't want to hear it. But the fact that they're still here and they're still sitting, or they listen, or they watch the replay, or they do something like that, and then the fact that they're getting your energy as well, like it's totally different. That means a lot. That's everything. So they need to give themselves a pat on the back that they're at least willing to learn something new, do something new. But like I say, it is about not organizing and deliberately creating your life to get that outcome. You want to deliberately create your life so you can have fun. You can have as much joy as you can. You can take that time out without feeling guilty to play with your kids. You can eat those 6 donuts and that Hershey bar or wherever you are in the world. You can do that without guilt or apology. You're just being, and you don't need to have toxins and then you do all that sort of stuff, and then you'll just start naturally attracting everything that you want anyway.
Yeah. We're getting very close to the hour mark. I was figuring again, we might ask some questions, and I think it's probably a good idea to let people know that both Danielle and myself, we're relaunching our brands, I suppose. I've had, as I said last week, had a really fun time doing these live streams, but I think I want to change things around.
Yeah, that's fun of it.
I think that probably next week we may take a break. I'm not quite sure yet. Need to have a chat with Danielle about this, but preparing for something new. So whether that be an entire live stream where it is just engaging with the people on the live stream and doing readings and questions that way, and then perhaps doing a separate show where we're talking about specific topics.
Yep.
Like vibration or looking at how to achieve abundance, all those kinds of various different topics. So that being said, with the last 5 minutes, do we have any people in the audience? Any questions? So if you'd like to ask a question of Danielle with the cards, can you please put your question in high caps, and I can put it up on screen for Danielle, and we can get some answers from Spirit.
And at the end of the day, all the information is merely to help you feel a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more optimistic. One thing I would love to say is that when Spirit do work through me, we do not make choices and decisions for people. That's not what we do. We know what's for your highest good. Spirit show me the timeline in the energy in which we can help you get there, so to speak. But all outcomes, everything of that nature, all predictions are based on the energy that you put into your life. So that's keeping it as high vibe as possible.
What's the saying? Energy flows where your attention goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Someone wants to ask a question. I think it could be Laura.
I'll just say generally, I was just tapping into the mass conscious collective. Like, I can't see names and stuff, but I'm feeling the energy. I would really love to know, everyone to know right now, especially over the next week or so, that we are going through a death process. So as individuals, we are really taking a look and say, this isn't quite working in my life. This is what will work better. We are doing the releasing and replacing, but we are ending a cycle. And this does come with mourning. I had that moment myself yesterday where I was really badly triggered on a very special day. I woke up wanting it to be a special day. I was very severely triggered. And but I knew I had to go through that emotion to release it. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're going through this thing. But we need to know that justice is coming for all of us. It is going to work out in our favor. So try to remain upbeat. Exactly right. And like you say, I'm intuitively led to do a relaunch. So are you. We'll never get it right. We never will. We'll constantly adjust, and that's okay. We'll never have it perfect. So, but look at that. Victory, victory. Awnings and blinds. That's an Australian ad for those who are overseas. Anyway, so there is victory, and Spirit wants you to know that you are going to be supported by them, especially if it's light work. If you're doing your light work, or you're going out and you're being of stature in the society of helping people. Could be a nurse, could be a reader, could be anything. An inspirer, an influencer. You need to know. Yeah, intuition, baby. Our intuitions are kicking off. So sorry. Rebekah. Hi, Dan. Shivers. Oh, shivers. You are a bit all over the place, aren't you, Rebekah? Work sector. I have applied for another job. It's definitely coming in. It's definitely coming in because this Two of Pentacles come in. They keep saying that I feel like you're going to get double the amount of money that you used to get, or there's 2 offers that may actually come to you as well. So keep in mind, if you have applied for another job, that's wonderful. It could be it. I feel like it may even be the second one. So there may be a second one, but I got more so of a feeling that this is going to come to you, Rebekah, rather than you chase it. But what I love is in your energy, you're being proactive and you are applying for things. You are saying, I'm going to go through my death experience and release where I currently am. And I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to put my thumb in lots of pies. I'm going to go exploring for a little while. I'm going to get curious, see what's out there. And Spirit is saying it will come in. July, August seems to be significant with you too, Rebekah. They literally just told me you may get a whiff of this in July, but definitely August. August. So, yeah. So stay optimistic. You're on the right path.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Rebekah. That was a really good one. I wanted to address Laura, actually. It is, as you know, I'm on the same page as you with that question. I do kind of want to address politics, and I kind of don't. It is relevant, and then again, it's not. Look, when it comes to this particular person, I'd love to see the United States have a really strong leader, because going through this type of upheaval that we're seeing at the moment, it's stabilizing for a country to have a good leader. That's also, suppose, all I'll say out of that. And that the first thing that I think of when I start hearing about Trump and will he come back and all that sort of thing is someone going to come back to save us? And
Yes.
whether he does or whether he comes back or not, I don't think it matters too much. I think it does to the Americans, of course, because you want that justice. You know, the whole election stuff. There's this yearning for that. When it comes to my view of government, though, I think we're going to see complete turnaround. Whatever that card is in the tarot, that's the 360, the Wheel of Fortune, or whatever it's called. I just see things kind of flipping on their head. Limitation. I see government as limitation, and I really hope that in the future that we have a government, but it's not so broad, and we don't feel like we're underneath them and they're on our back. That's just not a good feeling, and I don't agree with that. And it sort of, yeah, that's all I'll really say with that.
Can I just add to that question? I have trained myself not to deal in legal, medical sort of things, and I don't watch worldly news, so I am the most unworldliest person you'll ever meet. So, yeah, to get into specifics, Trump's and, I mean, whoever and whatever, I don't do that, but please know that all the toxic energy, these cards literally flew out when I read her comment. All the toxin, all the devil energy, all the bad stuff is getting siphoned out. So it is getting siphoned out. It's like dancing with the devil. We feel like we're dancing with the devil right now, especially if you're very high vibe and you're getting too caught up in that. We do have the Page of Wands. So there's new inspiration. There's new leaders. There's a newness coming. The grass is greener on the other side. We all need to take a leap of faith and follow our own faith and get back in touch with source energy first and foremost. But what's happening on the ground, there is going to be a very hard, swift change. It's going to be black and white. I feel really good about it. When I turn the cards, I felt like going, so it's kind of like, oh, yeah. I think what most people are more healthier to do is to get out of the specifics of whatever this energy is, who it is, who's doing what, all that sort of stuff. And honestly, I feel like we're heading into a new beginning. And they just told me once again September around this. So I don't know what's going on where. But in this energy, I feel like September is going to be very significant. So we may still have a bit of an energetic window in between now and then. It's going to be we're going to be able to celebrate. I feel like we're going to be able to celebrate.
Excellent. Sorry, I'll do one more. Remove this for a second. One last question. Oh, okay, here we go. Ocean Odell.
What is the biggest change I will see this year? Your intuition is going to come on harder, faster, thicker. It's kind of like, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm reading the energy of it, but I think it's going to be possibly money being made by using your intuition more. You may be a healer or a mentor or a coach or something of that nature. It doesn't have to be that specific, but I feel like your abundance is going to be the biggest change. But the biggest change is how you are as an individual when in regards to trusting your intuition. Yeah, it's going to happen anyway. There's that card, Ben. There's that one you thought about. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. So put it this way, Ocean, I think you're going to come into karmic rewards and you're going to really follow your nudges and really be divinely inspired. And as a result, you're going to become more abundant, more prosperous, and a lot more steady on your feet, if you know what I mean. So that's a lot more secure and stable.
Just thinking like a root chakra kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Spirit keeps saying it's surety. It's sure. I'm sure. If someone tells me a porky, I'm going to know straight away, and I'm just going to like deal with that right then. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be swayed anymore. It's like, no, you don't feel good. I'm leaving you alone. Let's go over and pat that kitten over there. Like that kind of real, I'm taking ownership of my intuition. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's abundance and prosperity.
I was just thinking it might be a good time to have a quick look at this. If you are interested, everyone, I'm just going to show you here. We've got Danielle's personal development playground on Patreon. If you
Come
are
swing on the
looking
swing.
for, if you're looking for a place to swing, no pun intended.
Yeah, PG, thanks. But
PG,
no, I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
So this is what I was talking to you all earlier, was that Danielle on each week will bring some cards out for us for our weekly affirmation script to help us in the week to come. This is what you would expect in this area, and I've, as I said, I wish well, I'm certainly going to be trying to set my habits differently from this point onward, to really go through the scripting each morning. So I'm going to start off small, and I'm going to say, when I sit down in front of my computer to start my work, and I take that first sip of my cup of tea, I'm going to read this, and I'm going to feel into the affirmation every day. And on the days that I have done this, where I've built a 2 or 3 day momentum, I've seen things happen positively in my life. So, it's one of those things that I know that I've seen benefit from. And, if you're interested, I think you could as well.
Yeah, most of those are just templates. So that's our guidance for the week ahead. That's delivered by Spirit from the moment I do it for the week. But for yourself, Ben, and for anybody else that's just maybe starting to collate all this together, use that as a template, but your right thought processes will come out. I'm going to have a great day today. Today's going to be a great day. I'm really looking forward to today. The great conversations of the clarity. I'm going to love the clarity. You don't have to go into like real intense stuff. Just, I'm going to have a great day. Going to have a great day. It's a great day to have a great day.
Set the intention before we go out, and I might use that as a segue for the end of the show. It's great being here today. It's been really good to have everyone around. I've been laughing my ass off too, Laura. I really enjoy this show, and I think you can all tell that
so much love to you, Laura.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Beautiful energy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. Love to see you next time. Have a good week.
See you guys.
Bye.